today on 15 on 15.
A group of international journalists leak more names on the Panama Papers. Plus, find out which are the richest countries in the Caribbean. And these are Aruba's biggest obstacles for a greener, cleaner island.
Thank you for joining us on another edition of 15 on 15 right here on Channel 15 ATV with Daniela Piazzi. Let's get started with our latest local news topics. The leak of 11.5 million files from the Panama-based law firm Mossack Fonseca continues to create upheaval around the world. As more and more details are revealed, detailed information is divulged about Aruba's involvement in offshore companies and the identities of shareholders and directors of these shell businesses.
This week, the journalists behind the Panama Papers scandal released a massive searchable archive with information on more than 200,000 offshore entities involved in the unprecedented leak. The release contained the names of more than 360,000 people and companies tied to offshore accounts. For Aruba, the data covers at least 26 companies accused of fraud and other financial crimes. Last month, the Aruban Tax Department stated that they will be taking harsh actions against those who are discovered, and Minister of Finances Angel Bermudez added that for those on the island that are revealed, large fines and even jail time can be foreseen. The data is the largest step in the international fallout after April's release of the Panama Papers. The massive leak of documents from Panama law firm Mossack Fonseca, which helps the world's rich and powerful hide financial assets and dealings. Within the United States, celebrities such as Simon Cowell, Emma Watson, and Lionel Messi have been mentioned, as well as world leaders such as Vladimir Putin, Ukraine's leader, and Iceland's prime minister have been linked to the Panama Papers.
Moving forward, the Dutch representatives at the International Monetary Fund supervise Aruba's financial situation each year in order to monitor the prosperity of our island. Then, once every other year, a report is issued which gives a clear view to the Dutch kingdom of Aruba's financial position. Within the past year, the report has been a reason for concern, considering Aruba's major deficit. However, during a recent meeting with the Dutch IMF representative Menno Smel, he states that things may be looking up for our island.
The International Monetary Fund is a global organization headquartered in Washington, D.C., of 189 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. The IMF representative of the Kingdom of the Netherlands is not only tasked to supervise their country's financial situation, but also ours.
We had a very friendly meeting, as always, I must say. Today we talked a bit about the economic prospects of the island and Aruba. So we talked about the tourism, we talked about some investment plans that the government is still considering, and we talked a little bit about the island in itself.
During Mr. Snell's recent meeting with Aruba's Prime Minister Mike Eamon, he focused on points including the island's economic prospects, tourism, investment plans, and Aruba itself. For a while now, IMF has been concerned about Aruba's economic prosperity when looking at the deficit in recent years. However, they were glad to see the figures are looking up.
Well, let's say we didn't go in all the figures and details. It was more like a general discussion that we had, but I was happy to note that some of the concerns that the IMF had previously, for example, about the government deficit, were now looking better than before. So I was happy to note that there are still a lot of initiatives going on, and this government seemed to be very willing to bring this initiative forward. Well, you know, we are from the IMF, so we always have some, let's say, advices, or there are issues where we think the island can do even better. But yes, we are happy to see that on some of the issues, on the pension issues, on the issues for healthcare, and also on the government deficit and finances, it looked better than a couple of years before.
We'll be back with more 15 on 15 after a quick commercial break.
When we come back from the break, we've got a list of the richest countries in the Caribbean.
with us right here on Channel 15 ATV. Historically, most Caribbean islands belong to a variety of European colonies. However, since achieved independence or autonomy, many Caribbean islands have managed to establish themselves competitively in the world economically. Undeniably, tourism is the industry that has flourished the most in the region. So, if you are wondering just how well this industry is doing for islands, here is a list of the Caribbean's richest islands compared by GDP. And for the first time in many years, Aruba is not at all left out.
So what are the richest countries in the Caribbean? While there are naturally a number of ways to measure wealth, and none is perfect, one measure is to look at a given country's gross domestic product per capita, or GDP. It's at least a good indicator of the general standard of living in the country, as of course high concentrations of wealth in the hands of a smaller number of people can skew the data. The Caribbean Journal compiled a list of Caribbean countries using data from the last 4 years from the World Bank Data Center, listed in U.S. dollars equivalent. While GDP data isn't available for every territory in the Caribbean, it is available for the vast majority of independent and constituent countries. So what's the wealthiest country in the Caribbean according to GDP? Well, it is actually Aruba, with a GDP per capita of $23,353, followed by the Bahamas at $22,217 and Trinidad and Tobago at $21,323. Fourth on the list is St. Kitts and Nevis at $15,510, Barbados at $15,366, Antigua and Barbuda at $13,432, then is Suriname at $9,680, Grenada at $8,573, St. Lucia at $7,647, Dominica at $7,244, Cuba at $6,789, St. Vincent and the Grenadines at $6,668, the Dominican Republic at $6,163, and nearing the end are Jamaica at $5,106, Belize at $4,831, and the end of this list is at Haiti at $824.
Moving forward with Aruba's vision for a sustainable island by 2020 comes also the responsibility of sharing its knowledge of renewable energy with other countries much like ours. Considering the fact that islands are the first to feel the effects of climate change and global warming, the teamwork between island nations is crucial. Palau, an island region within the Western Pacific, is also focused on an eco-friendly goal, which can benefit Aruba's ecosystem.
The people of Palau, a small island nation in the northwestern Pacific, have long realized that the health and prosperity of their nation depends on their ocean. Because of this realization, Palauans have also worked to protect their ocean resources. That's why Palau has drawn the world's top scientists and ocean writers, and why Palau has repeatedly been rated the world's top diving destination. When you go there, you see some of the healthiest, most accessible coral reefs and abundant reef fish population anywhere in the world.
Our president always said that our environment is our economy and our economy is our environment. That's why we focus so much on the conservation of our water, because we also think that the tourists are coming to Palau because of the ocean, the underwater beauty of Palau. At the same time, we noticed that the fish, especially the tuna stocks in the Western Pacific Ocean, are being depleted, overfished. That's one of the main reason why the president and the leadership of Palau declare our EEZ as a no-take zone for tuna and some other marine lives.
And with Aruba's sustainable vision, the countries realize that they would like to learn a thing or two from each other. Therefore, the Palau ambassador to the United States invited Prime Minister Mike Eamon to join GLISPA, a global island partnership to promote sustainable communities.
We invited the Prime Minister to join the GLISPA. GLISPA stands for Global Island Partnership. We noticed that Aruba has taken initiatives in many sustainable and renewable energy, and I know Aruba can bring a lot to the table, and that's why we want the involvement and the representative of Aruba to join GLISPA. Because together we can learn from each other, and that's the whole gist of GLISPA.
We'll be back with more 15 on 15 after a word from one of our sponsors.
After the break, when thinking of a sustainable island, these are the biggest obstacles ahead.
Thank you for staying with us right here on Channel 15 ATV. Within the past year, you have probably heard at one point or another of Aruba's ambitious goal to become completely independent of fossil fuels within the next 4 years. Now, although being on a small island this can seem like a simple task, there are many obstacles Aruba will face in the years ahead to reach this goal.
Aruba first announced its intention to pursue a 100% renewable energy target at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. Planning began a few years earlier in 2009 when the government began making partnerships with international organizations to begin the island's transition. Over the past few years, Aruba has gained international recognition for its efforts to reduce its fossil fuel use. And the island's leaders say by the end of next year, Aruba will be halfway to its goal. But to get the other half, Aruba will have to overcome several major obstacles. First of all, figuring out how to maintain a constant flow of power from the country's wind turbines and solar panels. Therefore, the island is introducing a new cooling system that uses ice storage to keep air conditioning running smoothly if there is a sudden drop in wind power, the island's main source of renewable energy. Secondly, Aruba will also have to overcome another challenge that other ambitious renewable energy adapters don't face. Because it is an island, Aruba cannot depend on its neighbors for emergency backup transmission. Should it be hit with a major sustained power outage from something like a hurricane, all the energy produced has to be on the island itself. Thirdly, imported oil and gas is still significantly high on the island. Using more than 80% of Aruba's electricity is generated using imported heavy fuel oils, which experts say leaves the vulnerable to global oil price fluctuations. These renewable sources are a meeting of growing portion of the island's peak energy demand. The rest of the power comes from imported heavy oil and diesel, both fuels that are not commonly used in the United States for electricity, but are the main source of energy through almost all of the Caribbean islands. While attending last week's U.S. Caribbean Central American Energy Summit in Washington, D.C., Aruba's Prime Minister Mike Amon and the Aruba delegation met with private business leaders to discuss new energy storage options. The delegation came away from the meeting encouraged by the possibilities of implementing new, cheaper technologies on the island. One key component to this strategy has been getting utilities on board with the transition to renewable fuels early in the process, something other countries have either neglected or have not been able to do successfully, unlike Aruba.
Thank you so much for watching. These were your local news updates and trending Aruba topics. Be sure to like our 15 on 15 Facebook and Instagram page for all of your latest news updates. Also, don't forget to tune back in tomorrow night at 7:15 p.m. for more 15 on 15 right here on Channel 15 ATV. See you then!